as a referee, you always have to be on guard against being overzealous. I saw an example on TikTok recently that I think illustrates this point pretty well. The party, low in resources, tired, exhausted from previous encounters, I guess, encountered a creature. I don't remember the creature's name. A paladin in the party summons some kind of special tower. They all get inside basically to escape. Now, the creature has spell casting abilities, casts Wall of Force. GM determines that not only can the creature block the front door out of this magic tower with Wall of Force, but also some kind of trap door on top with the Wall of Force. So what does this do is it turns the combat into an almighty slog. One of the players got upset about it. The GM defended their decision, basically saying, hey, I'm playing this creature tactically. That's what it would do. Now, I don't have a problem with the tactical part. It is smart for the creature to do that. However, could the creature do that? Now, Wall of Force, you can bend it, you can create segments out of it, you can make shapes with it, but you can't split it up into two pieces. So could this creature have, with that Wall of Force, blocked both entrances? When I picture a tower, I picture crenellations on top, a circular entrance. It's maybe also circular on the base. I don't know how tall it is in this case. Could the Wall Force have gotten over on the top, then bent down over the crenellations and flattened to absolutely cover the trapdoor? Maybe, but I'm going to doubt it. I'm also probably going to doubt that the GM actually went through the trouble of looking everything up. What they did was they got overzealous. Wall of Force, 2 entrances, or maybe they just looked at the footage of it and said, oh great, I can cover both the entrance and the trapdoor. Done. And that one decision has immense consequences that they don't see because they're looking past it. They're not looking at the fact that they skipped some steps, which might have been reading up on Wall of Force, just checking to be sure that, hey, Wall of Force can do everything that they can say it do. And sure, if you can manage it, yeah, that is tactically brilliant, but only if it can do that. The other thing is Wall of Force is, I believe, and someone can correct me, actually, don't correct me, please, concentration. Did they keep in mind that if this creature has Wall of Force going, that they can't be casting a whole bunch of other spells? That can also be a symptom of being overzealous, where you get an idea in your brain and you run and jump to the conclusion of the idea without going through all the intervening steps. Let me give you another example that I think can highlight it as well. This happens all the time. The PCs do something wrong, and then wherever they are, they've done something wrong, they've committed a crime, the guard is on them. Right. Oh, the guards grab you. Right. You're in the throne room. You say something insulting to the king. You say, yeah, up yours, Mr. King. Suddenly the guards have you. Well, this is also being overzealous. Why? Were the guards standing right next to the PCs when this happened? Probably not. They might have been standing at 10 feet away, maybe at 40 feet away. Maybe they're positioned at the ends of the throne room by wherever the Lord is sitting. And there should be some distance to cross, which should give the PCs some mobility, some options. But you've taken those options away because you've jumped from they've done something wrong to what you think the conclusion of that will be, which is that they are arrested, but you've passed through the intervening steps that are very important, which is, can the guards arrest the PCs? Can the PCs escape? Can they do something else? You've jumped ahead of yourself. You've gotten too far. And it's the players who always suffer for this. And then the GMs will fall back on, well, look, you insulted the king. Of course you're going to get arrested. And that ends up becoming the arguing point. But it's not usually what the issue is. The issue is usually that, well, sure, we said something insulting, or we robbed this thing, or we committed this crime, but there's a chance we might have gotten away with it, or at least escaped. But you didn't give us that chance. Suddenly we're clapped in irons, and there's that gap of committing the crime to being clapped in irons that's totally passed over. That is being overzealous. How do you stop yourself from being overzealous? It's tough because you're excited, you're in the moment, you know what you think is going to happen, maybe you're looking at the possibilities, or you're thinking ahead, and so you miss those steps. But the key thing is to slow it down, take a breath, think in those steps. If the guards are charging at the PCs, go into initiative. This is when moment to moment is important. Break it into initiative. That will help prevent that, because the guards can only do, once you get into initiative, you're locked into that kind of combat or turn-by-turn sort of mechanisms, and those will naturally prevent from jumping too far. They can't run across the room 90 feet, then grab the PC, then clap them in irons all in one turn. And naturally, by moving into that kind of framework, it will eliminate your ability to jump ahead of yourself. In terms of the first example with the encounter, look, there's a lot I don't know about the situation. I'm kind of reading the tea leaves, reading in between the lines. But again, ultimately, the GM had a good idea for what this creature could do, but they got ahead of themselves. And by doing that, it took what was a good tactical decision, which is, oh yeah, block them in with Wall of Force, and just took it too far. That caused this combat to become a slog, caused the player to call the GM a bad GM. The GM gets defensive and says, hey, I'm just playing this creature as smart as I can. That I think is fine, but if you broke the rules or bent the rules around for this smartness, that's where the problems come. And often in the heat of the moment, the players don't know, you don't know. It ends up looking like the culprit is tactical, smart enemy play, and it's not. It's the fact that you may have jump steps. Now, maybe you had it all lined up, and maybe Wall of Force could do all that. There's probably other discussions we could have about what to do in those situations when enemies make tactically smart choices, but those choices potentially put a real burden on the game. We could talk about that, but make sure that you're at least dotting your I's and crossing your T's. If it looks like it's too good to be true that, oh, hey, I can take this one spell, Wall of Force, and I can completely bottle the party all up, maybe check it before you run with it, because you might be getting ahead of yourself. And that causes a lot of frustration on the players, and we often don't see it because when the players lash back out at us, we tend to fall back and we miss the fact that it wasn't the decision that was the problem. It was that we skipped some steps. So as much as you can, try not to skip any steps. Game on. Talk to you later.